amid all of this news on the coronavirus, we learned of the death of Herman Cain from complications of COVID-19. One of the last times Cain was seen was at President Trump's rally in Tulsa late last month. He didn't have a mask.
They are taking their cues from President Trump. President Trump mocks people who wear masks on a regular basis. He picks on Joe Biden for wearing a mask at these rallies. And it's often some of the biggest applause lines he gets at the rallies when he picks on people for wearing masks.
Governor Kim Reynolds plans to host a rare televised public address tonight just after 6. She will talk about the need for Iowans to practice safe COVID-19 mitigation efforts, as well as announce new steps to fight the virus.
What is your diaper about? You want to turn around?
Herman Cain, the former presidential candidate who tested positive for coronavirus 9 days after attending President Trump's rally in Tulsa last month, has died. Local health officials had pleaded with the president to cancel the rally, where Cain appeared without a mask.
I've had Trump supporters actually scream at us, telling us that we are fools for wearing masks, and the masks are actually detrimental to our health as opposed to protecting ourselves and those around us.
This comes after weeks of breaking coronavirus records in Iowa. Just in the last 24 hours, more than 2,000 new cases were reported in the state, and 6 more Iowans with the virus died. Since the pandemic began, nearly 2,000 Iowans have died.
Hospitals in the Des Moines metro are near capacity.
This is truly the worst point that we've ever experienced throughout the pandemic.
Dr. Rosanna Rosa says all 4 Unity Point Des Moines hospitals are full. That means Methodist Medical Center, Lutheran Hospital, Methodist West, and Blank Children's Hospital.
Trump chief of staff tested positive for COVID-19. Multiple news organizations, including Bloomberg and CNN, report that Mark Meadows is the latest person in the White House to catch the virus. A White House spokesperson declined to comment on the matter.
It's farcical that the president held a packed rally in Florida last night with thousands of people there, not socially distanced. It's farcical. It's completely antithetical to what Dr. Walensky is saying needs to happen.
I haven't actually been to the White House since August the 6th because my impression was their approach to how to handle this was different from mine and what I insisted that we do in the Senate, which is to wear a mask and practice social distancing.
Beds have been filling up fast, but local hospitals are now working side by side.
We are told the Unity Point hospitals are very full, caring for the most COVID-19 patients since the start of the pandemic.
We still don't have word yet about whether the president's going to be released from the hospital today. And now the news about the press secretary testing positive, how are they going to get on top of this messaging?
I have no idea. I don't think they are going to get on top of it. And by the way, I'm just seeing news now that 2 deputies of the White House press secretary have said they tested positive. And somebody put on Twitter that there are more cases of coronavirus and COVID-19 in the White House than there are in the country of New Zealand right now.
A mask can actually do more harm than good to individuals.
It'll do more harm.
It can, because people can faint because there's too much carbon dioxide going back into their system.
That's a big problem. People fainting all over the country from masks and dropping dead.
Well, just enough.
Mercy One is at near capacity.
We're seeing increased number of COVID-19 patients requiring hospitalization. And we're seeing both a mix of moderately ill and severely ill.
One doctor at the VA hospital told me the ICU is full, and she has worked 12-hour days, 9 days straight. And many hospitals, frontline workers are sick themselves or requiring quarantine.
I think all of the hospitals are watching is fatigue, is this pandemic has had staffing on high alert since, March.
Republican U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley, one of Congress's oldest lawmakers, said on Tuesday he had tested positive for the coronavirus. The 87-year-old Iowa lawmaker is the latest in a growing list of members of Congress who have tested positive or are presumed to have had COVID-19. Just last week, U.S. Representative Don Young, the oldest member of the House and the longest-serving Republican in Congress, announced that he had been infected with the virus.
Enough people are getting ill because they're wearing a mask. So, yeah.
Where did that come from,
common sense.
Unity Point has not given the raw numbers, but cites a 25% increase in COVID patients from Friday to Monday.
This is a very critical situation.
Here's how you can make your own face covering in a few easy steps with items you can find around the house, like an old scarf, a bandana or a hand towel, or you can make a face covering out of an old t-shirt. Fold it to the middle from the bottom, fold it to the middle from the top, fold it again to the middle from the bottom, and again from the top, and then 2 rubber bands, one on one side and one on the other side. Then you fold either side to the middle and you have yourself cloth face covering. It's that easy.
The dashboard put up by IDPH does not fully reflect the situation.
The state's coronavirus dashboard lists more than 1,100 Iowans in the hospital. Polk County set a new record Monday, 191 COVID inpatients. This prompted the Polk County Health Department to put out a plea begging the public to stay vigilant.
The situation that we find ourselves in right now was preventable.
Dr. Rosa says while Unity Point Des Moines hospitals are at capacity, that does not mean they're turning people away. It does mean a longer wait in the ER and elective surgeries are canceled.
In other states, they're actually starting to pose that question. Is the state ready to then issue a rationing of care, guidance? It can get to that point. It can most definitely get to that point.
Running out of beds isn't the only issue. Dr. Rosa says there is not enough staff to care for the sick. She is now urging Iowans to rethink gathering for Thanksgiving.
The way I see it is we have to make sacrifices this year so we can get together and celebrate next year.
Trump at the rally said, everyone put on their masks.
Put it on. If his supporters heard a message from the president that were different, they would act differently. And what I always go back to that I think is so mind-boggling is that if the president had encouraged his supporters to wear masks back in March, we may be in a different situation. The economy may be better. He himself may have not contracted coronavirus. It seems to be hurting his own effort in terms of defeating the virus and his own effort politically, but yet he chose to go a different path.
Oh, and all of the models do show that 100,000 lives would have been saved if we had done that early.
Surgeon General and former Indiana Health Commissioner Dr. Jerome Adams says masks are the key to slowing the spread.
If we can get a critical mass of people wearing face coverings, practicing at least 6 feet of social distancing, doing the things that we know are effective. And it's important for the American people to understand when we're talking about the fall, we have the ability to turn this around.